Today on the Terrible Warriors, a new month, a new campaign, a brand new story just for you. We sit down to play a game about saving humanity from the brink of destruction. When all other plans have failed and there's no one left to answer the call, our team will have to sacrifice everything to save humanity from their end. There is no GM in this game. The story is generated around the table in real time. When we started, we had no idea where it was going to go. But over the course of the next 4 hours, one thing is certain: that Terrible Warriors are our last best hope. Greetings, terrible listeners. It is I, your not GM, the person who convened this game, Justin Ecock. We are meeting. Happy New Year, by the way. I think if this isn't the first game of the new year, it's definitely one of them. So
if we succeed.
If we succeed.
Look, we don't know what's happening in the new year.
If you're listening to this now, then the world didn't end, so that's good. We'll explain all that in a second. First, let me introduce to you our Terrible Warriors for this campaign. I'm Justin Ecock, and to my left, your right, we have
Joshua Barbeau.
Coming to us from our Star Trek Adventures game. Welcome back, Commander Haddock.
Why,
but not
thank
Commander
you.
Haddock this time. And
This is Adam Luker, one of Justin's long time friends. You may remember me from the Sprawl episode.
yeah, you were part of Sprawl, as well as the unsung hero of Ashes of the Empire.
Yeah, he's the one who gave me the 3-hour lecture on dice. I definitely mentioned that in game.
Yeah, a lot of times, repeatedly.
Repeatedly, over and over. He ran that food line scenario with me so many times. So
Also,
many.
Bree's here.
Sorry, I jumped in line.
Hi,
no,
Brent.
I'll go back in line. Don't worry about it.
Now at the end of the line.
Brent Morris from the Star Trek Adventures and the Showhole podcast.
Welcome. So this was originally planned tonight, a Star Trek Adventures recording night. Then I fucked up and ended up having to go see Princess Mononoke instead.
Life is hard.
I had already bought tickets to that. So we are recording those games different. Now, they're all being released. By the time you've heard this, those episodes are already out, so this is all out of time. None of that matters. You don't care. We're here to play a game called Our Last Best Hope. And Our Last Best Hope is a game I got from one of the Apocalypse World Humble Bundles that came out a while ago. And it was like one of like 8 or 9 games I got. And I flipped through this, I was like, oh my god, this game's amazing. If you have ever watched Sunshine, or Armageddon, or Deep Impact, or The Core, or even Battlestar Galactica, Pacific Rim, all those bits where like the stakes are so high that if we fail, everyone's over. Also, if you haven't watched Sunshine, just fucking stop and go watch it now.
Do it.
So
Come
good.
back. As Bree likes to point out,
Josh is leaving.
it cashes in all the checks that Event Horizon tried to write.
Yeah, honestly,
So-
I think it's a better movie than Event Horizon. Fight me, Internet.
So the point of Our Last Best Hope is it's an RPG about saving humanity. And not just saving humanity, but saving humanity through personal sacrifice. We are going to become humanity's last best hope. For whatever reason, as we define what it is that is out to get humanity, we are the only ones either left or the only ones available or the only ones qualified to stop this crisis. And then we'll come up with the plan on like how we're doing it. None of those are written down, though. That's all part of the character creation process because this game has no GM. It's a game where the 5 of us are all going to be working together to tell this story. We'll take turns in terms of who has a spotlight scene, and then everyone else will take on different roles of like what would traditionally be the GM gets split around the table. We will, after we define what the crisis and the limit, why we're doing this, and the plan, how we're doing this, we'll also then pick out our roles, a soldier, engineer, scientist, or doctor. There's 5 of us, so you can double up, but hopefully we'll get one of each represented, and then someone will duplicate another. And they have different mechanical as well as narrative changes to the story. We'll all write down our assets. We'll come up with threats that will be out to get us during this game. And then we'll determine who the captain is and who the supply officer is. Now, this is just me talking out of my ass, but it does recommend that the person who's the captain is the person who also knows the rules, because it also plays a mechanical role. They're the ones who keep track of all the dice. So I don't have to be the captain beyond the opening scene. Like, you can all be like mutiny against me and kill me, and then I'll just continue on through flashbacks for the rest of the story. I know Bree is not against that particular outcome. So... Hello. So, and then we'll also pick out a supply officer who handles the story points. Those are a lot of terms I just threw at you, but as we go through the creation process, those are terms you will get used to. And after this episode, when you come back to episode 2 of Our Last Best Hope, is when this story will begin in what's called Act 1. The game is broken up into 2 acts. They're not equal length. Act 2 is basically just the final scene. Act 1 is en route to the crisis. Act 2 is confronting the crisis. Act 2 triggers after a certain amount of dice have been added to the event card, equal to the number of players at the table. And then Act 2 is just we all get one last scene before the grand finale.
So if
you're looking at Sunshine...
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're still equating this to Sunshine, where does Act 2 start?
Act 2 starts after
Spoilers.
Icarus 2 is destroyed.
It's not spoilers because we told everyone to pause and go watch it.
It's not. So after Icarus 2 is destroyed and that whole scene on the payload where he's confronting the stowaway and they're activating the payload, everyone gets one last flashback scene. They all get to do their story. They get to run through it one last time, but it all happens on the payload. At the end of Act 1, they fucked up so much that they rolled a bunch of black dice and they lost a number of assets, including the ship. So then they're just on the payload. So Act 2 is actually all just that final act in the movie where he's running around the payload as they're plummeting into the sun.
Which is about the last 10-15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. So
in this game, black dice are bad.
So I'm hoping in the
Yes.
format of this game, we'll get this episode as creation. We'll get 2 episodes of Act 1, and then episode 4 will be Act 2. They might not all be exactly an hour, but so we'll just kind of just bear with me here. This is one of those games like Masks and Norlandia and a few others we've played where Kakagami High as well. I have no idea. Nothing is pre-written here.
Nothing at all.
So this isn't like some of the others like Star Trek and Star Wars where we've done where we had like a story written down. Nay. We are going into uncharted territory. Fun fact though.
We're flying by the sea.
You are listening to this episode in January 2018. We are recording this episode on November 19th, 2017, around 6 p.m. According to Christian numerologists and reported by a number of red-label tabloids in the UK, today is the day that Nibiru, otherwise known as Planet X, is to either crash into Earth and destroy us all, or pass by so closely that it changes, like the earthquakes will shake off the crust of the Earth or something.
And throw
like
the
that.
moon off.
Hashtag
as well.
science.
So
Yeah.
that's how tidal forces work.
There's one of those every couple years.
So if that is going to be our crisis, there's a rogue planet that's come from outside the solar system and it's going to just crash into us. I am cool with that.
That's how planets work.
That is one of the things. So where we start here is it actually does have, you have to pick a mission type. Our Last Best Hope is broken up into 3 mission types in the core book. Space missions, snow missions, zombie missions. When we talked online about it, everyone seemed to be on board with, let's do space missions. The other 2 are cool, but I mean like Armageddon and Sunshine and all the, I mean it's all about being on a shitty spaceship cut away from Earth in the void, heading out to confront whatever it is that's going to wipe out all life on Earth.
Sunshine was a much better movie than Snowpiercer, and everyone is sick of The Walking Dead. So let's just go with this.
Thank you.
And so we've got me as your captain. So who would like to be the supply officer? I got all the tokens in front of Bree, but she doesn't have to be the supply officer.
I mean, I don't mind doing it because you've been yelling
I've been
rules
yelling
at me
the
for a
stories
week.
at you.
So
Bree's gonna be a
unless you
supply
want to, if you really want to do it, Josh,
No,
like I'm cool.
I was just volunteering if nobody else wanted to do it. But if you know
So-
the rules, then you should do it.
I sort of know the rules. I've been playing video games a lot while he's been talking to me, but I sort of know them.
So here's the fun bit here is we can just also leave this up to random chance. Under the space mission, the classic playset, there's like some of the themes here is sardines in a crushed tin can, braving the cold vacuum of space. Your team has wrapped itself in a ship to get them to the crisis. The ship is the only thing keeping you alive, may also be driving you crazy. Or the other theme can be more of humans think we can envision eternity. After all, we've seen the ocean. Yet when you stand at the edge of your ship and look out into darkness, you quickly realize that you're just tiny mites of dust hurtling towards the crisis faster than you have ever moved before. And on the other side of the ship's hull is nothingness ready to consume you. So that can be like both of those can kind of work into our theme. But I can roll dice here. And it actually recommends I roll 4, 2 white and 2 black dice, and then we can determine. Like it gives you like a random generator for what crisis we're up against, why we're together, and the starting complication that starts our story.
We're not just going to default and say it's Planet X.
So we can absolutely default to Planet X, but I just want to give you
let's try it.
An example of. Actually, we'll just pick up the proper black just for the purpose of the demonstration.
Dicest.
Oh
God, what's happening? Floor dice.
Should have kept the small ones.
I ended up rolling the same number.
Oh,
So
it was a 3 again.
So I rolled a white
That's
3,
really
a
weird.
white 6, a black 5, and a black 3. So for that, we have a deep space exploration has alerted hostile aliens to humanity's existence. Humanity has discovered a sleeping elder god on a nearby planet.
Yes.
Can that sleeping elder god be Nibiru?
It's not just a planet.
It's anime boy
living
Nibiru.
And
Nibiru dating sim.
a gigantic solar flare threatens to blow away Earth's atmosphere.
Meh.
And the moon is hatching, and something terrible is about to
I
emerge.
like that one. That was a great Doctor Who.
So those are the 4 random crises. And we also have Rogue Planet on course to crash into Earth.
We could just say that rogue planet is also a living entity.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's an
hatched
elder
from the
god.
moon. Maybe it's
It
not
is
going to crash into
Galactus.
Earth. Maybe it is actually like this. There is talk of a massive planet, probably larger than the rocky planets, or like Neptune, but made of rock, out beyond the Kuiper Belt. That we've never seen because it doesn't reflect any light, but it could be responsible for sending comets into the solar system. Maybe that is Planet X, and maybe there is something that's awakening there, like
It's Galactus'
like the
spaceship.
Reavers from Mass Effect. Were they called Reavers from Mass Effect? I can't remember what they were. They're
Or some
like,
sort
the-
of cosmic Lovecraftian horror.
It's the angels from Evangelion.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. If we want to do that, or we do planet crashing in. The crisis is just the non-negotiable will wipe out humanity problem that is coming our way, but also doesn't matter because the story is about our characters and our journey there. So what are you into? There was a few that you liked there that we rolled.
I think the question would be, do we want to go goofy-ish with this, or do we want to keep this really like stern and serious?
You mean we're not going to survive the end of this?
No, yeah, that's a foregone conclusion.
So,
yeah, we're all dead.
You can be goofy about it, but we're also going to be playing out some death scenes.
Well, I just mean like the hatching moon. That's goofy. Like it's pretty hard to play that
There's
straight and
Doctor
serious.
Who,
Yeah.
or there's Armageddon.
Right.
Like there's two different kinds of apocalypse.
I like the solar wind, but you are all like,
Well, I mean,
boring.
when we were talking about Sunshine, we would just be basically
well,
playing
yeah, like
Sunshine.
I mean,
right?
you and I just watched Sunshine like on Thursday, so I've had my fill. I've had my fill of that.
So what we're going to do? This is like Armageddon on steroids. If we're doing Nibiru is on course to crash. into
Armageddon
Earth.
was just an asteroid the size
Yeah,
of
this is
Manhattan. This
Yeah.
is
This is
Bigger than
a
Earth.
planet the size of the planet.
yeah.
Like the cosmic gods have decided to play billiards with Earth. So and we're the 8-ball. And
I really think that the conspiracy theorists have gifted us with a better story than we could have come up with
Yeah,
The
ourselves.
fact
so
that
let's
it
just
is
do it.
November
the fact
19th.
that it is the 19th of November, I almost compels us to go for that. So, discarding that die, we have, though, why are we humanity's last best hope? So, using the same numbers I rolled, experimental ship is the only vehicle that can complete the mission. The team has unique previous experiences with this crisis. Are we all numerologists? Have we been predicting this our whole lives?
We were
But
the
the
characters
lizard.
from the movie Armageddon.
But the lizard people, though.
The team members have been experimentally enhanced to survive the trip. Or the team is immune to an effect. No, I'm going to go the last one. I'm going to turn that into a 6. Political infighting has left Earth unable to respond. The team had to plan the mission alone.
Yeah.
This would be the numerologist.
Wake up,
Nobody's listened to
sheeple.
us. Yeah, this is nobody's listened to us, but we've been preparing all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the guys that have the bunker already ready, but instead we have a spaceship already ready that we built ourselves out of stolen parts, and
Yeah, we're rogue numerologists.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
Earth doesn't believe this is coming until it's already too late. But thank goodness we've built something.
We divide by 0.
Okay, so we have Nibiru crashing into Earth. We are what is our limit? Why are we humanity's last best hope?
Because we're the only ones that listened.
We're the only ones who listen to Art Bell. And so, but we're the ones who listen. But how are we also humanity's last best hope then? Like, we've got a spaceship, and we're heading out. Is it?
What is the plan to stop
like,
this
are
thing?
we?
We're experts in practical numerology. and use
Did a
it to solve
government
problems.
send us? Has a government sent us? Has the world gotten together Pacific Rim style to build this ship and send us out?
Sure.
Or did we build this ship in secret and no one on Earth is aware?
I like the secret option.
I like the secret option. It's real dumb.
Yeah, it is.
So who financed this venture?
God.
The lizard people.
the cabal of
Did-
numerologists
did-
that run the world.
Okay.
I have some reading for you, Justin, if you're not on board.
Illuminati stuff here.
I thought you read my blog.
Hey, do you remember the 2008 economic crash? Big conspiracy. That was us building a spaceship.
So the housing crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was really just us building a spaceship with all the world's
So we've been
money.
funded by the lizard people
So
to
what if
save their lizard people kingdom.
You're going to get so many of the wrong kind of listeners to this.
We're gonna get all the right keywords.
people are going to be so upset?
David Icke will be very,
Hey.
very upset.
What is our plan to stop Nibiru from crashing into Earth?
That's the hard
This
part.
is where we can get like real funny. I was thinking a lot about this because I was thinking this was going to happen. So some of my plans were, what if this is a little bit further into the future and we're actively mining like the asteroid belt, and okay, they want to play like we don't need an Earth-sized planet to change Nibiru's trajectory, but maybe like a Ceres-size asteroid.
I've got it. We don't want, we're gonna force Pluto to get in Nibiru's way.
Yes. We don't need you anymore, Pluto.
We've already said it's not a
Yeah.
planet. We've
So-
already
yeah.
said it's not a
The
planet.
signs were there, Pluto. You should have known.
What we have to do then is capture Pluto's moon, Charon,
Yeah.
to move it away from Pluto and destabilize Pluto's orbit to then
so
move
that-
it in
Yes.
and do like basically a billiards trick shot
Yep. With
into
Pluto.
Nibiru and
Which-
knock Nibiru like it doesn't even need to hit it. It needs to just pass by enough
To throw
so
it
that
out.
Nibiru
Nibiru no longer-
to then not
Yeah.
make Nibiru a threat anymore. And
Yeah.
if we play our cards even better, it'll put Nibiru into a stable orbit that will no longer be a threat to the solar system.
In fact, Nibiru might take Pluto's place, and then Pluto might go off somewhere.
Yeah, and destroy some other solar system.
We'll shoot Pluto back at whoever sent Nibiru in the first place.
I like this plan.
How are we shooting Pluto into Nibiru?
Well, I like your idea of disabling
You're
Charon.
saying-
So how are we destabilizing Charon? Like,
Yeah.
I just want to get into like the dumb science on how we're
Tractor
pulling this
beams.
off.
Nukes.
Yeah, there's always nukes or some kind of like contained gravitational charge that will like.
Yeah, if we instead of blowing up a nuke, if we have like sustained nuclear chains, remember how Elon Musk was going to warm up Mars by exploding a nuclear bomb every 40 seconds over the course of 8 years?
I was just going to say a really big tow cable.
Well, what if we used a rocket?
What if we
used-
lasso it?
What if we use a nuclear fusion rocket to push, like basically turn Charon into a spaceship?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, and we just like a giant nuclear sustained explosion. that
Adam,
just-
Adam, why are you so
I
upset
had
right now?
the most incredible character concept pop in my mind while we were talking about this. I don't know if I should reveal it now or wait. But
hold on.
We're almost
yeah, I mean,
there.
I'm gonna wait. I just sorry.
We're
Like,
talking about. We're trying to.
I literally blew my
contemplate our
own
plan.
mind. Okay,
I was just
cannot wait
worried.
now.
I was worried you were upset about the science and
Oh,
was
God, no.
about to explode on us.
Oh God, no!
Okay, good.
I just want some kind of charge involved. I have something. Oh, it's so stupid, but I love it.
It was the best ideas.
With Earth. The limit is we were the only ones who listened.
Sheeple never woke up.
Only ones who listened. Venture expedition funded in secret.
Yep.
Through House
Sheep
of
ignore
Christ.
the sheepdog at their own peril.
God.
The plan. Pluto. Cue ball.
I love this so much.
Oh boy.
Poor Pluto.
So
First
we're
we
just
said
like-
it wasn't a planet. Then we said, get out of our...
And not only are you not a planet, you're now a blunt object that we're gonna use.
We threw Pluto to the curb, and now we're like, we need you back. We need you to save
I was
us.
just gonna say, like, if we could take enough objects from the asteroid belt, we could create. My idea when I was walking around was we capture a bunch of asteroid objects and bring them out to Nibiru and create like a breadcrumb gravity trail.
Okay,
And like
like
lure it.
Pac-Man.
And it would
Waka,
keep,
waka,
and
waka,
every
waka.
time it falls, we then place another one, and then it falls
When
out, and
you-
place another one, and it just keeps into orbit.
When you said we're going to take a bunch of asteroids, the only thing I could think of was I was like, oh my god, are you building a wall in the Kuiper Belt? We're going to build a wall, and Nibiru's going to pay for it.
No, I wasn't thinking. I was thinking the Pac-Man one.
Oh god.
Pluto
So-
is a cue ball.
I apologize
Do we
for
want to have
nothing.
Pluto the cue ball or Operation Pac-Man?
Both of them sound so good.
I don't know.
We could
Pluto
have
the
plan A
cue
and
ball
plan
is my
B.
vote. Plan A, plan B?
Because we're there's
we gotta-
no time.
Okay.
This is our
This
last
is
best
this is
hope.
Okay.
this is
One.
This is
already
Oh,
plan B.
Whatever one we don't do, the last group could have already tried. And because
That's what I
it
was
didn't
the last
work-
group
Yeah.
tried to do the
So wait,
asteroids.
so there could be a whole
So
bunch of
now
asteroids
that
out there.
Nibiru has a whole bunch of asteroids that it's tugging with it.
Yeah,
because
it ended
that
up
plan failed.
It ended up not working. None of the asteroids were big enough, and Nibiru's gravity just had now
Just sucked
Nibiru has
them
a
in.
bunch of moons.
Right. Yeah.
So
Collateral
it's even
damage.
worse.
Yeah.
So we really have to stop Nibiru now because
Yeah.
Nibiru is a planet with a bunch of moons.
So the
Yep.
plan is to
We've
move
weaponized
Charon and use Pluto and Charon as like a gravity slingshot.
Yeah, I like
to
that.
create the orbit to be like, and then like a Angry Bird style to then slingshot Pluto up. But the
Yeah,
thing is, we got to
with
move
way more
fast
math.
though because there's
Sure.
not that much time.
No, we have to time
we
it
get
perfectly
one
for
shot, and
trajectories. Yeah.
if it's all gone.
I also love the idea
We're
of
messed.
being like, Pluto's our trash, and we're just going to throw that out into the universe as somebody else's problem in the future. They're Nibiru.
That's what humanity does.
Yeah, exactly.
Just throw it into
We are the
volcano.
perfect personification of humanity.
In this room
Yep.
right now.
All right. So, supply officer, everyone's going to get 2 story points.
Okay. Are we using the little blue dudes for that?
Yeah, we're going to use the blue dudes for now because they're prettier.
Okay.
And everyone's going to get 2 tokens, and these can be spent during the game to purchase additional die in a roll when you're up against a threat.
I'll just punch
While
the
that is
microphone.
happening, place 1 black die per player on a card labeled the event. So I just need 3 more black dies, and we can put that back into the white die pool. Yep.
So,
I
fine.
was a rebel. I brought
So we
green
got-
and black dice instead
Fine,
of
I
white
see
and
how
black
it
dice.
I got 5. Well, there's 5 of us. I got 6 dice, so I can
Oh
go
well,
back 2.
fine.
So we got 5 black
Oh.
die in the event pool. Now
We
the other
can't do
thing.
basic math. How are we going to trajectorize this Pluto into?
We're
not math,
numerologists,
it's
not
numerology.
mathematicians.
Yeah,
Each
understand.
player has their 2 story points, correct?
Yes.
Also, 2 story points per player go on to the plan. This is community pool that anyone can pull from, but hold on to it because if we don't have it later, we won't be able to use it when we're executing the plan against the crisis.
Okay.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting for you
Should be
people
10,
at
yeah.
home. 5, 6, 7, 8,
3.
9, 10. See, there's 10 little points on there.
So what's fun is because these scale by players, the event gets more black dice, but the plan gets more story points. So we have more options. We got more players. We've also got more tension. We have more players. The difficulty goes up. At this point, we now are picking out our roles. The roles are broken up into engineer, doctor, scientist, soldier. But those are the tropes. You can get nuance. You can be a botanist and a psychologist, and and they might
And
a
we're all
botanist
numerologists.
you can be a botanist and a quantum physicist, and they're both be scientists, right? You can be a psychiatrist and a medical surgeon and still be the doctor. So you can then create and finite. So your character idea that you came up with will fit into one of those 4 roles. And then we'll work that in. So what was your idea, Adam? Because you were the first one to be like, oh, I got the best one. So now we get to present what your character might be. And I've given everyone in front of them 6 white cards. One of them will be for your character, and the rest of them will be for story cards that we'll be using throughout the game.
So my first concept was serious, and I'll stay away from that. We seem like we're in the goofy pool. So what I'm going to go ahead
Go
with.
serious. What was the one that you were really excited about? You were like,
That's the one. Okay, this is the goofy one. That was the spur of the moment. I want my character to be a champion billiards player who was brought along simply because he's an amazing shot. Now maybe he has some, some education in physics.
You're the trick shot physicist.
Yes, exactly.
You're like how Brian Cox is both a rock star musician and a CERN theoretical physicist. You could be a scientist theoretical physicist who's also a world famous billiards player, and they call you the trick shot.
Right.
The trick shot physicist.
All right. Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
so that's the scientist role.
yeah, exactly.
So at the top of your card, just write we don't have to because the table's kind of small and we're an audio podcast, but they'd recommend you split them in half and you write your character name on one side and then your role and keep track of your hearts. But at least at the top of the card, write down your role and then come up with your name. And then this card is going to hold on to tracking your harm as you go through the game, and you can also use it to keep track of your story points and any dice that you pick up. So who would like to be our engineer? Brent?
Yeah.
Oh, and Josh. That's okay.
Uh-oh.
We can double up on at least 2.
Well, we'll see.
We can double up.
What's your concept
Somebody's gonna
for
have
the
to.
engineer?
My concept was some sort of DIY maker hacker guy, and I actually like the idea of a hacker driven by the illogic of numerology.
So a computer engineer.
Yeah.
I was thinking more actual engineer. So that's okay. We won't step on each
So
other's
to give
toes.
you an idea here on mechanically how this is. So the scientist can spend a story point to remove 1 black die from a threat roll. It lowers the difficulty. Engineers can spend one of their story points to add a white die to their roll when facing technical threats. So as long as the threat is within the wheelhouse of it's an engineering problem, you can always add in. Whether you're a hacker or an engineer or an industrial designer, it all kind of still fits into the engineer trope.
Okay.
And if you want to play a different kind of engineer,
I could
this
also
sounds like
play-
the kind of job in space you want more engineers than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
So engineers are going to be handy when we're dealing with hull breaches.
My character concept could also work as a soldier, though. So I could.
What was your concept then?
My character concept was I would be humanity's last best hope. I have a secret that I'm not telling the others. I have an extra backup plan.
Everyone
Gets a secret?
Just to wrap
Should
you
I
up,
keep that to
everyone
myself?
gets a secret card that's handed around. Everyone's also going to get a sane card, which player keeps them together. Everyone gets a crazy card, which player drives them nuts. Sounds like you're going to be that one. You get you also have a fear card that another player will have. So the secret card goes to your left, the fear card goes to your right. Those players now hold that in their hands. They can invoke during the game to get story points for themselves, but also kind of fuck up your spotlight in the process. So
My character
the answer,
concept
though, is your
was-
secret can't. No, you are not humanity's last best hope because we are humanity's last best hope. That's the one rule. There is no other.
There is no other
hope.
plan. Gotcha.
If we fail, there's nothing else left. This is Sunshine, where all of Earth's resources went into building this payload. All of Earth, there's it's not even the housing economy crash in 2008. No, they've actually, the entire economy of Earth has been completely bottomed out to pay for this expedition. No one is aware of it, but capitalism has collapsed. It is complete anarchy. Governments no longer exist. The Earth is done for to pay for this trip and this technology in order to pull this off. We are humanity's last hope. If we fail, there's no one else, and that planet will just crash into Earth, and no one can do anything to stop it.
This is what Coast to Coast has been waiting for.
All right.
So I mean, I'm all about going. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I just also I'm trying to follow the spirit of the rule. So what was your
Very good.
what was your engineer idea though? And there's probably still a way to work that in.
My idea was that if our plan to push Pluto into the thing didn't work, that I was going to take over the ship and crash the ship into Nibiru, causing an explosion that might.
Certainly through the game, we're going to have to come up with other options.
Yeah.
And you're going to also get death cards that I'm going to be handing out when our characters are created. And if your characters are... It is very likely we are all on a one-way trip.
Oh, yeah.
And in movies like this, at most one person survives, and even then sometimes they don't. And in this game, a total party wipe, it can still be a victory. When your character takes enough harm. 5 harm. You can never get that harm removed. The doctor character can remove the effects of that harm, but you still have the harm. The mission is moving too fast to slow down to heal up. When you take 5 harm, you can either narrate into how you die to match your card, or you can use that card to cheat death and get a second chance at life. But you just don't get to add the white dice to the plan as many white dice when you then later die to your fate. You can only cheat death once. You can only use your death card to cheat death, and then later you can use it to die properly. At any time, you can just choose to invoke your death card. You don't even have to take the harm. When a character dies, all active threats in the game are wiped clean, and that character adds 2 white dice to the plan to be used later at the end of the game for the final roll.
Like their sacrifice to help everybody out.
Exactly. And then you still play the game going forward, you just only play now as flashbacks. So in terms of this gameplay, that might still be something that you can come up with, but that's not
a character.
That's not your
creation
character concept. Your character why are you on this team? Why have you been picked for this team? What makes you the last best hope and worthy? If you're playing an engineer,
Maybe I built
what's
this
your
ship.
skill? Here, they have. If you just want to
A ship needs a mechanic.
Engineer, you're into. So the engineer here, suggested engineering themes. They have apply engineering liberally. What do a paperclip, a turkey baster, and the moon's gravitational pull have in common? In the right hands, your hands, they can defuse a bomb, fix a ship's cracking hull, or otherwise save the mission.
So MacGyver.
Your fellow teammates may go out on their knowledge and expertise, but you can improvise in ways that'll keep your team in the game for another few hours. And given the pressing need, the mounting crisis that threatens everything, in another few hours might be all humanity has left. Or inventor extraordinaire. Scientists may explain the world, but engineers are usually a few steps ahead of the explanations. The Wright brothers, for example, launched their first airplane when most scientists believed that flight was impossible. You've built something vital to the mission, the ship, the device that will stop the crisis, or even mimic the AI that's helping us out. And your job is to ensure that everything works perfectly. You might double or triple check your calculations and schematics to keep the rest of the crew happy, but you know in your heart that everything is going to work, no adjustments required. You could be the guy who invented the technology that this ship is using to capture moons. Right? Like,
Sure.
you have the ion drive that's used
That's
to
necessary
move,
to push a moon out
like
of
the
its
gravitational waves to push these things around. And so this could be your machine. And that's
Perfect.
the engineering role. Whereas you are Brent as the engineer.
The inventor guy.
You're the software.
Yeah,
and
maybe
he's
I
the
made
hardware.
Sure, maybe I made Mimic or something like that.
Yeah, or you got the models to use his hardware to pull off the numbers, and then we've got our
Right.
scientist there who actually like plots it in and tells you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were
Uses
the
the
other
software.
2 roles? They were soldier and doctor,
Doctor,
right?
yeah.
And what are you guys playing?
So the soldier is not all threats can be countered with science alone. Guns help too. And I get to spend a story point to add 1 white die when trying to inflict damage on a threat. And then the doctor, needing medical science assistance, many teams have doctors to ensure the psychological and physiological health of the team to defeat biological threats. In that case, I would spend a story point to allow a player, including myself, to ignore their harm for 1 roll.
Cool. So if neither of you 2 want to play a doctor, I'll play the doctor. Otherwise, I will play
Kinda
the inventor of this space
I was
drive.
real hoping Bree would be our psychiatrist.
I kind of want to be a psychiatrist, and I kind of want to
Be the ship's counselor.
Well, I want to, be the ship's counselor. But what if the reason I was here was because I taught Mimic, right? Like,
Oh, I
Mimic
like that.
was
Right.
created.
Oh,
like,
you're
if
the-
you created Mimic, right? I'm your Dr. Young.
You
who,
gotta
like,
teach
You're the
Right.
character
That's great.
from
Yeah.
Ex Machina.
Yeah, like I was the
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
who, like, the computer was made, right?
Right, but
but
you
then
gotta
I
train
You would
it.
taught
spend all
It
those
wasn't
times
enough.
having interviews.
Yeah,
and
I
asking
taught it
questions.
to be a human, basically.
What it means
right?
to be human, or what she thinks it means
So-
to be human.
Oh, I have an
So
idea.
you're the trick shot physicist.
How
Adam.
about this? How about
This is all
I
coming
had
together.
issues. I have the skill to pull off what we need to pull off, but I have trouble interfacing with his software
Okay.
because it's not human-like. Like I can't connect. So you've basically
I've been brought in to
Yeah.
try and teach it to be more human-like,
Yes,
so that
so
we can all work with
yes.
it.
You know the math, but we got our engineer who knows the coding,
Right.
and then we've got our other engineer
Mechanic.
who's the mechanic who builds the machine to
hardware,
interpret
yeah.
both the science and the code, and then we've got Mimic to help guide everyone. But
Right.
also because of your ability, you're also here to also like socially engineer our minds
Oh,
to
yeah.
make sure we don't go crazy.
Yeah,
on
I'm-
the
I'm
trip.
here to
'Cause
make
this
sure
is gonna
you
take
don't
us
go crazy.
years to get out to Pluto. That's like a 6-year trip.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna be we've been around for a while.
We're gonna be bonkers
Well,
by the
and,
end of it.
and it's gonna be the complete opposite of Sunshine if you've seen it, because in Sunshine people start going crazy because they've been facing the sun this whole time. There is always sun. We've got the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Get
we've
the void
never
of space.
seen the sun. Like since we left Earth, we're going the complete
getting
opposite
smaller
way.
and smaller. So
yeah.
into the darkness, into the void. So as the soldier, then, if we've got the brains, the code, the mechanics, the humanity, I'm obviously the money, right? Like I'm whatever representing the organization, the private military firm.
Jesus, welcome back,
Also
Murphy.
the pilot.
I'm the corporate entity playing the trope role of the soldier, but the company man.
Right.
Who's like
what
the
You're
was it
Paul
like
Reiser in Aliens.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
Who's
was watching
like,
Aliens last
you know,
night, so that's exactly what popped in my head.
This trip would have just been blueprints, but someone believed in you in this crazy that the three of you and then Mimic. Someone believed in this team enough to finance and build this and crash the world's economy in the process.
Right.
Because the UN was like, you're all crackpots. So then, so I'm kind of like the corporate Illuminati.
Yeah. Yeah. Illuminati soldier.
Would it be inappropriate to give you some kind of devious real plan right now, or probably just leave
No,
that to
I
you?
can write a secret card down. So
Do you want any recommendations or?
Well, absolutely, but here's how it's going to be. Is I have on the there's a little bag with markers in them. On the back of these cards, I need you to write down. One of them is going to be your roll card, and you're just going to keep that face up. But you're going to have other cards here that you're going to write on the back, and we'll go through them each at a time so we follow through. So once you all have a marker, let me know.
Oh yeah, that ASMR though.
So I'm just going to write soldier at the top. I'll come up with a name in a minute when we're doing everything else.
It doesn't have a satisfying pop when you pull off the cap.
I'm sorry.
I'm real sorry.
Oh, they're radio friendly.
friendly.
Look, I want you to
I'll
yell
take
at
the-
I actually
I'll take
didn't
the
grab
black
one.
I want you to yell at the dollar store.
What did you want?
Whichever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, on the back of your cards, I need you to write in like big bold letters so that they're real easy to see
Back
when
of
they're on the
these?
table. On the back, on the blank side, write sane. On the next card, write crazy.
Not insane.
Nope. Because it's not about what drives you. That will be a character that drives you crazy. On the third card, write secret. On the fourth card, write fear. Two cards are going to say touchstone. And if you've run out, just let me know. I'll hand them to you.
Yeah, I think
I need one more.
Card.
I didn't count them out right. So here, take two and write touchstone on them. Everyone ran out. I didn't count them out right.
Take extra. Take all the cards.
Well, did Brent get one?
Yeah, I passed one.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Sorry, touchstone.
Touchstone.
On two?
Yeah, you're going to get two of those.
Okay.
And then the last one is going to say asset.
Oh, I need another one again.
There's another one.
Take one. Yep.
Asset.
Oh, bam.
Just one, right? Asset on just one.
Yep. So let's go back around now and introduce our character, now that we have our roles, I want to get like names, a little bit of background history, what brought you up to this bit. We can even role play it out a bit too, where we can see like these are the prologue, maybe like the webisodes before the movie started. So we have our. I'm interested here with your doctor character, Bree, the one who interviewed Mimic. That sounds real neat. So, what's your doctor's name? You can be Dr. Old.
Dr. Mimic, you just named after yourself?
Dr. Mimic. I named it after me.
Spreading these out.
Yeah, they're gonna kind of get spread out in front of you. They'll be like cards on the table. But you can flip them around. We're gonna be writing, keep them in a stack. We're gonna be writing onto them in a minute after we've learned everyone's characters.
Sure.
So while Bree's thinking up of the name, then let's start.
Look, I'm opening a name generator.
Yeah, I've got a name here for my character.
I have Jim Grimshaw,
Ooh.
the MacGyver mechanic / inventor of the machine.
Okay. And so we got Jim Grimshaw.
And yeah, he worked on the machine and incorporating it into the spaceship and
Cool.
all of that fun stuff. He's good at building things and
And-
keeping things running.
Adam's scientist.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Tracy Trickshot Schuler.
Is that triple T? That last name?
There's an S in there.
Yeah, it's Ness Schuler. Sorry.
Oh, I thought you said
Tracy
Trutler.
Trickshot.
I was really hoping
Schuler.
for Trutler. Tracy Trickshot Trutler, and it would just be triple T.
Trutler is very hard to pronounce. I'll stick with Schuler.
I know a real life Trutler.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Trutler.
I'm going to stick with Schuler because that's also TS.
All right.
Trickshot. It flows.
Get the fuck out of here. Okay, cool. So you got Trickshot.
I'm gonna go watch Sunshine.
Dr. Trickshot. PhD, Esquire.
As many titles as you can give me, I'll take them.
and engineer software that runs the ship.
My name is Newton Crane.
Newton Crane. And you're a code monkey.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I wrote the software using the principles of numerology.
Of course.
Occasionally.
And that's why no one else knows how to run the computer, because it's all like weird matrix code.
Occasionally, Mimic just starts screeching about how the Earth is flat, just like random conspiracies at all given times.
Oh my goodness! On this ship, are all conspiracy theories considered
So-
truth and canon?
Yes.
Is the
Also
software
cryptids.
self-aware? Is this Mimic thing we're talking about?
I think
It's
so.
an AI.
yeah.
It's an AI.
The
Yeah.
ship itself is an
Oh yeah.
It had to be an illogical OS in order
I think
to
there's
mimic
actually.
humanity.
I want to make sure I'm not missing
Wah.
a step. There is. I believe there's supposed to be an interview step with each player and Mimic. Introduce the characters. So, actually, Bree, you can play Mimic here.
Okay.
We're gonna. I did miss a bit. We're gonna write down our touchstone cards as part of our introduction. So everyone, get your touchstone cards out. And you are right before the mission happened. Think Big Brother in front of the camera style. You sit down for a one-on-one interview with Mimic, and Mimic is going to ask you just 3 questions that you'll respond with that we're all going to get to learn about. So 4. First is your name. We've all got our names now, and except for me, I haven't figured out. I'll come up with something. So we'll start with Jim Grimshaw. You sit down for your interview with Mimic, and
I'm
Mimic.
writing the questions
I'm
and
hello.
answers.
I Mimic.
Hello, Mimic. I'm writing the questions and answers.
You're going
on
to.
these
I'll tell you
touchstones.
which ones to write down. The first one you're not going to write down. It's just more for us to know.
Gotcha.
And then the next 2 will be that. So
And
these are
I'm
the 3 questions to ask right there. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm writing these on
And
both
on the
touchstones.
one answer. So question 1 is for the group.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to get written down. Question 2 goes on one touchstone card. And it'll be very obvious. And question 3 goes on the second touchstone card. That's it. And I just would like to have this. So you sit down, and I would like to know what Mimic is like, because
What
we're
is
all going to
Mimic
end
like?
up be playing Mimic throughout the game. That this role will be shared amongst all of us.
Gotcha.
So Mimic might have 5 different personalities, or
I mean, numerology.
it might all balance off of this litmus test that Bree is going to set the record on what Mimic is like.
The bar.
Oh God.
It's all on you. No pressure.
Okay. So you sit down and Mimic is like, "Hello, Jim."
Does Mimic look like Hal with a red light, or is it like a camera?
I kind of like the idea that there is no mimic. It just appears in your head, a voice like a la Sayer.
Okay, so
Right?
there's
Like suddenly it's just talking in your head. You're like,
just a disembodied voice. We're all connected by neural.
Yeah,
links.
we have implants. Only the crew we can all hear internally.
We've all got neural links to
And
the
we
ship.
all think Mimic sounds a certain way, but it all sounds
Yeah,
different
Mimic
to
can
each
sound
of us.
different to
Yeah.
Oh, I
everyone.
like that. Whatever you would deem. Oh, that'd be the most
The
comforting
big
voice
secret
for
is
them.
there
Mimic
never was
always
a Mimic.
takes the voice that you are most comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So Mimic says, "Hello, Jim.
Hello, Mimic.
Um,
How are you today?
oh, I'm doing well as always.
Oh, of course.
And so, I have a few questions for you today, Jim. If you just want to look into the camera right there.
Which camera?
The one I'm flashing it right now, Jim.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no,
Yes,
there.
yes, yes,
There you
yes,
go.
yes.
Why are you
to
on
the
this
left.
mission, Jim?
Because I'm the only man for the job. That's the first question, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The first question everyone's going to ask: why are you on this mission? So everyone else gets to think about it. Josh was put on the spot.
Yeah. Jim, what have you left behind? And this is your first touchstone.
What have I left behind? The horrible human race that I have no affection for.
That you're out here trying to risk everything to save.
Yes, well, maybe
Look, they
I'm just
told
trying
me.
to save the planet, okay? You know,
I keep my stuff there.
I keep my stuff there.
He's in it to save the wildlife.
I really like dogs.
You've left behind your social anxiety.
Yes, I left behind my social anxiety.
So write down left behind as well, so we know which touchstone it is.
Awesome.
So Jim Grimshaw doesn't like people, doesn't particularly like saving people, but really
But
likes
does like
deer.
dogs.
He just likes dogs a whole lot. I mean, Mimic has never seen a dog, but Mimic's heard that they're pretty okay.
Oh, by now, Jim has told you all of it.
This is then maybe Mimic has seen a dog.
Oh, and your other touchstone. So Mimic says, Jim, what have you brought with you on this mission?
My dog.
And what's your dog's name?
What's my dog's name? Bones.
This is a real waste of
Bones.
resources.
Human bones.
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 Named your dog Human Bones? Yeah.
No, bones.
Just bones.
Just bones.
So you brought your dog.
Mimic thinks it sheds everywhere, and frankly, finding a place to put its excrement on the ship. was-
Cleaning up after him is a
Difficult.
hassle, I'm sure.
Especially living in a closed system.
Yeah, living in a closed system, it was really not
Okay.
the best thing. But
So Adam, I'll be Mimic for this interview, and we'll rotate around so everyone gets a chance to be Mimic interviewing. So same deal. You sit down in the same room with the same disembodied voice clicking in. Well, what was your name? Your
Tracy.
Tracy Trickshot
Tracy
Schuler?
Trickshot Schuler.
So Dr. Schuler.
Dr. Schuler.
So greetings, Dr. Schuler.
Well, hi there, Mimic.
Please look into the camera
Yeah,
No,
I'm
no.
doing that.
to your left.
Oh.
No, other
Oh.
left. That's the one that's flashing green.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Yes.
green, yeah.
There we go.
it's like, by the way, I'm colorblind.
That could be your secret.
That's canon, yep.
So, Dr. Schuler, I just have a few short questions to ask before we begin our mission.
Okay, shoot. Get it? Shoot.
It is vitally important that we know, why did you accept to be on this mission?
Well, it seems to me people believe I'm the only one here that could probably pull this shot off.
Oh, no doubt you are the only one available for this job.
Yeah.
But why did you say yes?
Well, I mean, if I don't pull through, no one else is gonna. And boy, the Earth's not gonna like that.
And would that trouble you?
Well, sure, there's tons of nice people down there.
Is it important that Earth likes what you do?
Well, that's a tough one there, Mimic. I mean, I'd like people. Yeah, okay, sure.
So you chose to say yes to this mission for the hero worship.
Yeah, that'll look real nice.
Look,
Yeah.
I like the idea that because of your voice, you've been underestimated for your entire career, so now you're the only one left.
The only one. Outlived them all, did I?
Noted, Dr. Schuler. I have another question for you. What have you left behind?
Well, I left behind a little bit. Should I go with family or should I go with my prestigious career?
Yeah, I mean, you were on track to be a Grand Slam tournament billiards champion.
That's
right?
a thing, apparently. Yeah, and I was definitely set up right for that. Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, I crushed regionals. I did.
So you left behind your regional contention.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like, that'll be nice and big winning regionals. But if I can go off to the stars and save all Earth, then
So do you think you'll be able to return and finish your regionals?
yeah, as long as that Becky lady, oh man, she was getting real good, and I'm a bit worried my skills are going to get a little rusty in the meantime.
It is good to know you believe you will survive the mission.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Dr. Schuler, what?
Can I just say real quick, you're going to play the biggest game of billiards ever.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like this is yeah. Oh, 100%.
Gonna play
Schuler.
No one's
space
ever
billiards.
going to play a bigger
This
game
will
of
be the
billiards.
best shot
Sorry.
ever done.
What have you brought with you?
How about
Your billiards
Yeah, I was
bag?
gonna say.
Room.
How about I brought my lucky cue? And thanks to our engineer friend
It
here.
doesn't have to be. No, the thing is, what you left behind and what you bring with you, it can be a physical thing. It can be psychological. It can be metaphorical. It can be like you brought with you your crippling alcoholism. I mean, like you left behind your debt.
Social
Like,
anxiety.
like all of those things. Like it can be. Those are examples in the rule book. How you define that question is up to you. The touchstone can be in a scene. You can touch that card to give yourself a dice, but then you have to reflect on what that card is. So you reflect on your dog or on your career or on the thing you brought with you that then gives you enough to bring in an extra die to help make or break a scene. Right?
Yeah.
So these are something that they're so important that you have written them down. And you can have a bunch of other reasons, but these are the two. What you left behind, your family, what you brought with you, your genius, right? Like that can be those can all be everything's valuable.
I'm gonna say it's her luck then. She really doesn't know why she's so good. It's intuition to her. So I'm
Okay.
gonna say it's her luck she brought along with her. Is that qualify?
So you left behind regionals.
Yep.
And you brought with you
And
your lucky streak.
My lucky streak, yeah. Yeah.
Well-
I'm gonna cash it in.
Well, Dr. Schuler, I hope your lucky streak doesn't end soon.
Oh, of course not. Jeez.
So, thank you for your time, Dr. Schuler.
Yeah, no problem there, Mimic.
Brent,
Round.
your engineer was
Newton Crane.
Newton Crane.
Crane.
You didn't write it on the name tag. You just wrote engineer.
Oh, see, I didn't
So
realize.
then keep
that's
it that
put
way
up.
so we can I can see your name. As well.
Okay.
I don't actually need this, do I? No.
You just have 3 questions to ask.
Yes, so, what was your name again?
Newton.
Newton. Okay, so Mimic comes to Newton when he's in the middle of a
Specialist
bowel
Crane.
movement.
What's the story?
Mimic comes to Newton when he's in the middle of a bowel movement on the can.
Congratulations, Specialist Crane. You have been selected for your pre-interview, your pre-screening interview, starting now.
Hello, Crane.
Hi, Mimic.
Are you enjoying your bowel movement today?
It's about the only relaxing thing left on this ship.
Have you been ingesting those fiber supplements I added to your dietary restrictions?
Yeah, those have really been helping out.
I'm glad. I have some questions for your file here.
Okay.
I have to know, why were you selected for this mission? It's for some reason it's blank. I would think that would have been filled out on their first day, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's not.
This could be the first day. Isn't chronologically, Mimic.
God, this Mimic is real judgy.
It's just for the documentary. Okay?
Your Mimic is real judgy, Newton. What have you been doing?
Not been eating his fiber supplements.
Yeah, I've been a little irritable. I've always wanted to solve hard problems, and building the technology necessary to make you is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. That's why I'm here. It's just a challenge.
Is that a compliment?
I mean, to me, yes.
Oh, I meant to me.
No,
Oh,
you're just a machine.
Oh. Okay, a machine you shouldn't take for granted. I mean, what did you leave behind?
People were going to learn about the value of numerological software, and I had to go because this was an even harder problem. So I was going to be famous, and now I'm stuck on you.
So you left behind fame and fortune?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Well, that's very, very, very interesting. And what did you take with you?
Some people say I'm arrogant, so maybe that.
Your arrogance?
Yeah.
I could have told you that. And one more question for you. When you designed me, why didn't you give me a physical form?
It doesn't matter. You're just a mind. We don't need these physical forms. You're
We're all
slightly
just beams
better
of
than
energy.
Yeah, we're all just light and energy and electricity and the patterns and numbers.
Very well. Don't forget to flush this time.
So what did you leave behind?
I left behind fame and fortune.
And you brought with you your arrogance.
Yes.
Excellent. So you'll write those down. And while you're writing those down, Adam will interview.
Pass mimic.
Will interview. What did you came up with a name?
I did. I'm Dr. Ariel Sims.
Dr. Sims.
Dr. Sims.
All right. So I kind of figured for your interview, you were given the software, and your job was to basically reprogram it to make it accessible for everyone.
I don't think it's so much reprogramming it as literally just sitting and talking to Mimic and like playing games
Right.
with Mimic and like teaching Mimic kind of how to be
Cool.
like more human, right? So you had this AI that was very much a robot,
Right,
And
which
it was
is exactly what I was
spending
thinking.
spending just like hundreds of hours with it, playing games with it like a toddler to like teach it humanity.
Right. So I figure your interview would have been when you first got this, before you've had to your time to work your hands through this clay, right? So
Yeah, so this is just from the archives.
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
dug up from the archives.
can I get the questions?
Oh, well, the questions are: why are you on the mission? What have you left behind? What have you brought with you?
Dr. Sims,
Yes, Mimic.
I need your attention for a moment.
You have it, Mimic. You were the only one here.
Why were you chosen for this?
No, it's why are you on the mission?
Why
It's not
are
even just we know why you're chosen.
Yeah.
But why did you say yes? I don't mean to interrupt you, Adam.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
No, I'm glad.
it's-
Why you? Why you over anybody else?
Well, Mimic, I'm here because I feel like there's not. I feel like there's not a lot left anywhere else. What do you want?
Almost
Why are you
sounds-
touching me?
It almost sounds like you're on this mission because Mimic's on this mission.
Yeah, like at this point, I think, there's just a lot of other problems in her life, and she's kind of escaped to teach Mimic, right? But to Mimic, she's trying to impart that you are the most important thing.
So you were here for me.
Yes, I'm here for you, and I'm always going to be here for you, Mimic. But there's the idea that like maybe she just doesn't have anything else.
Interesting.
This got real.
Query. You realize you are likely to never return home. What did you leave there?
Well, I had, I've been a psychologist for my whole adult life, and I had my own practice, and I'm leaving it to come teach you, Mimic.
Sufficient. Final query. Did you bring anything with you?
I mean, just my things, and a real well-stocked bar. She's the psychologist, but I like the idea that it's a psychologist, which is crippling self-medication problems.
So you brought your vices.
I brought my crippling alcoholism, like exactly what it says in the book. I saw that and I was just like, all
Lovely.
right.
Correction. One final query. If you are here for me, how does alcohol help Mimic?
Oh, we're gonna. I think it's gonna take a long
to
time
help
to teach
you
you that
help
one, Mimic.
You got 7 years.
I
until
got
we reach
7
Pluto.
years to teach you about that one, Mimic.
We have 7.37 years. I am curious to learn of these alcohol.
We have days.
Perhaps if Dr. Newton has given me a physical form, I would.
Please tell him to make me a physical form for this alcohol.
I will work on that one, Mimic. I got you there. I like the idea that like when she gets drunk, she just goes and sits in a room with no one else and talks to Mimic.
There's just a bucket on the wall that she can pour liquor
Mimic,
into.
we're gonna start a new lesson on why you shouldn't trust dirtbags.
Divine dirtbags.
Mimic, this is the year when we're gonna burn down
Oh my
the
God.
patriarchy, Mimic.
Are you
Done and done. I cannot
are you
wait.
like the robot psychologist Jessica Jones?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I just had like a real bad time on Earth, and I was just like, robots sound great. Robots are programmed not to betray you, right?
Okay. Cool. So
You haven't seen iRobot.
I am. See, oh no, I think I came up with. I was Maurice Crenshaw. Does that sound like a real like just
Maurice?
just shit kicker name that no one's gonna really like?
I don't like
Sure.
a Crenshaw.
Can
we call him Mo? Maurice?
Well, what's a better,
We can
what's
call
a
him
better
that. He doesn't have to
surname
like
for
it.
No,
like a
no, I
CEO
like-
for
I
a
like-
corporate?
Crenshaw a little bit because we could do like.
I'm already Grimshaw. Is that,
Oh,
close?
well, I was gonna say we could do like deep cut terrible warriors lore where they're related to Jessica from the Star.
Oh, that's where the name that must have been simmering around the back of my head. Okay, so Maurice from corporate was a good Maurice from corporate. I'm trying to think of any of like those last names they mentioned in American Psycho.
Oh God.
Cox.
Cox.
Maurice Cox.
Lee. I'm just generating names. Wakefield.
Oh, Maurice Wakefield.
Wait, if
Wait,
he's
it
Maurice
wasn't Cox?
then
Dedrick?
from
Dedrick?
Cox.
Diedrich.
Mo Cox.
Hey.
Sequoia.
Captain Cox.
Arrington.
Maurice Arrington.
Arrington.
There we go.
All right, Mo.
So Maurice Arrington, the soldier of this group. Maurice Arrington, the soldier, representing an unlisted, redacted corporation who has funded this expedition, built this ship, and told you all to arrive just in time for a secret fly-by-night trip. This ship is so big, it was built in orbit because it can't escape Earth's velocity. It's too heavy. It has, using the materials and everything that everyone like came up with, some kind of like a tow hook that has such a big mass, it works like a tractor beam where it's so gravitationally dense that just by putting it into orbit or something else, it'll come and be pulled towards. So it works as like a tractor beam tow hook.
It's like a slingshot ship.
And so it carries this dense matter that was like mined in secret off the moon or something, and it's been
After it
kept.
hatched.
It's been kept on the wrong side of the moon to hide it from Earth's sensors, and then off to Pluto. By the time they realized the ship had launched and was sending off all the heat signals, it was too late. We were already on the way out.
Oh, our super dense material. Oh man, we should have either our super dense material was from, or the planet in it, the ship in its early stages was what people thought the Black Knight satellite was. Have you ever heard of that crazy conspiracy theory?
No.
It's this idea that there's like a secret satellite orbiting the Earth, and there's supposedly
That
pictures
is
of it.
absolutely them building this ship.
That's building the ship. Look it up after we're done.
So
it's
is that-
really
is that-
ridiculous.
We've incorporated
Is that our
two
ship
real.
name?
So we're the
Black Knight.
We're the Black
Black
Knight.
Knights.
We're the Black
All
Knight
right.
satellite.
Black
so
Knight satellite.
Black Knight satellite.
We've now incorporated
look.
two real conspiracies into our.
Look, I am an
well, and all of you
encyclopedic-
got this job because of the number transmissions.
Oh, the number stations.
Yeah, you all cracked the number stations. They were just like a Craigslist job application.
Okay.
So-
Yes.
So now
Yes.
three real conspiracies have incorporated.
Oh
this
no,
cycle.
like as in the Star Wars game, which will be done by now, and I'm encyclopedic knowledge of serial killers, and also I'm an encyclopedic knowledge of just stupid conspiracy, and that's it. That's all I got.
All right, so Maurice Arrington was part of the corporation representing the financial interest behind, like, yes, we need to save humanity, and we're going to send Maurice on to keep everyone on track on the plan because you're all brilliant in your own right, but you're not a team, right? You're all here for your own reasons and backgrounds and histories, but none of you have like a lot of team experience. Even like billiards isn't a team sport.
No, definitely not.
So Brent can be Mimic here, and I don't know the answers to my questions, so I'm just going to have to come up with them when you ask them.
None of us did. I think you're all right.
Sorry, you're still a Maurice,
I'm still a Maurice. Just
and you're
because I wanted
captain?
the game to just dripped with like moistness. So I'm the captain of this trip,
Okay,
and the only one who like comes with weaponry.
right.
So maybe I've been living on the Black Knight satellite for the better part of a while. So welcome to my home.
Maurice.
Oh, hello, Mimic. I understand you were just installed in my ship. So, great. How are you enjoying the new accommodations?
Adequate.
You can be as human or as whatever. You don't have to be proto-Mimic.
I figure by the time that everyone else is
Yeah,
getting
that's
interviewed,
true.
Mimic is probably significantly human.
By the time you got integrated into the ship systems,
Why are you with us?
why am I on this mission? Well, this is my home.
You were already here. We got stuck with you.
I was building this place to be like a fallout shelter, and then the people that built it turned it into
Yeah,
the weapon to save the Earth that I was ready to get away from.
Suddenly,
this was my
the
bunker.
world government.
The world government
Oh my
told me
God.
I needed to take this ship and save the planet I was hiding from.
Understood.
So I'm sticking around because I'm not letting you take my home off without me sticking around. This is my place. This is my home.
Why do you live all the way up here, away from everyone else?
Honestly, it was, this has got to be, I have to be the tinfoil hat conspiracy guy.
Oh,
now, don't
100%.
I?
I'm hoping this is how you made your money. But you've been pumping out these conspiracies and you're like a radio host?
Well, because I've been, well, we just watched that documentary on the gang stalking.
Gang stalking.
So, like, I was chased here by all of the governments of the world that were stalking me everywhere, performing and acting everywhere I went, following me with the helicopters. This is the only place I could go where the helicopters were below me.
I am immediately fascinated with you. Done.
And so I just kept building the ship, organizing secret transportation of materials up here with my vast undisclosed amount of wealth that I got from my family estate who owns the Rockies.
That was more needless detail than needed. Have you brought anything with you?
Well, I guess I'm bringing with me all of my paranoia. Paranoia/conspiracies. As slowly this character is coming together in my head in real time. And then I have one more question.
Oh, did you leave anything behind?
Oh, I left behind. What would a character like mine have left behind? I mean,
His radio show. His adoring fans.
Oh my goodness, was I doing like pirate radio from orbit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've left behind.
You're a special guest on Coast to Coast.
I've left behind my voice. No one will hear me anymore.
You just disappeared.
My
The gang
voice.
stalked you into oblivion.
Oh my God. And then the entire time you've been telling people, like, they're turning my home into a ship to go do all this crap. And everybody was just like, oh, he's jabbering on again. So nobody was actually listening.
They just
You were
listened
telling
to
the truth the whole time. And everybody was like, it's just one of his other theories.
So we gotta roll through episode 1 here. We got a couple more things left to set up the game. You have with you still your sane, crazy, secret, and fear cards. And we don't have to do this out loud. We don't have to role play it through. What you do need to do is the sane and crazy cards are going to be kept face down on the table. You're not going to tell anyone who you're putting down. But now that we've gotten to know the characters, you are each going to pick which one person at this table, the other 4, keep your character on solid ground. Keep them rooted. Keep them sane. Which character is your rock? And the other card is your crazy card. Which character drives you up the wall? Which character just makes you crazy? And so you're going to write 2 characters, one on the sane card, one on the crazy card, and then you're going to put it face down on the table. If you do a spotlight scene, when you do a spotlight scene, it's really good to put those characters into those scenes and try and goad them into triggering either your sane or crazy card. Because the minute that happens, the first time, you can hand it to the supply officer, Bree, and get 2 story points handed to you that you get. So you early in the game, you want to trigger that card and reveal who drives you crazy, who keeps you sane, so you can get story points.
How do you get? How does a trigger happen?
Everyone's gonna get a spotlight scene. We're gonna go around the table in order, and then you get to set the scene. You get to be where you are on the ship, what you're doing, and who you're with. And then we play out like an interaction. Maybe you're just checking in on the other person to see how their day's doing, how you're doing. It's year 7, happy anniversary. I brought cake. And then you're like, and if they're your crazy person, maybe you're trying to like goad them into driving you crazy enough for me like ha 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 crazy card, and then you get to hand it to the supply officer and get your 2 story points. And the same thing with the sane card. You want to meet up with someone and be like, hey, you remember what Earth was like? Kind of miss it, and you kind of like look after each other, and you have like, hey, sane card, and then you get your 2 story points. And it just happens the minute that you role play a scene that is.
Can you do both at the
that is
same
appropriate.
time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh,
You
have
can't,
both
I mean, you
players
can't have the same character on both cards.
No.
Right,
But,
yeah.
but you
But
can
you
have
can
one
have
character
three-
making you more sane while another character is making you more crazy.
Yeah, there's nothing
at the
stopping
same
that.
time. Cool.
Yeah, you just only cash in the card once.
Right.
And then the same deal for secret and fear. You're going to write down what are you afraid of? And then your secret is is there something about your character that no one on the crew knows that you don't want them to know?
Oh man, I have a real dumb secret. I'm so happy. I'm very pleased with myself right now. I'm loving the amount of like ASMR writing noises we're getting off of the mics today. I don't know what's up, but like it's great.
It's that one mic that Adam and Josh are on
Ah,
is
it's
a little more
doing it.
sensitive than the
It's
rest.
doing it for me. I like it.
I didn't know you were that big on
Some
the
chips in here
ASMR.
make a
I'm
podcast.
generally not. For some reason, writing noises are real soothing for me.
All right.
Oh, I can definitely hook you up with that.
I just need a loop of
Just a
writing
loop
noises.
of writing noises.
I'll just make
That's
them.
it,
I'll do them
forever.
live. Do them live. All right. So when you have your secret and your fear card, put your secret card into your left hand and put your fear card into your right hand.
Ooh.
And hand it to the player on your left and right.
Secret left,
That's right.
fear right. All right.
Secret right.
goes to the left.
Secret to the left.
Secret to the
Fear
left.
to the right?
Fear to the right. And then just swap them around.
Oh, supposed to have the
You
names on
should-
the top.
Yeah, write your name.
It doesn't
on
matter
the-
if they're on the top, just so long
Just-
as the player that's getting the card can know which character.
Are we
they're
allowed to
from.
look
Oh.
at them?
You're absolutely allowed to, but you're not allowed to reveal it to the rest of the table.
Of course.
These are something.
Okay.
Now, narratively, have you figured this out because we've spent 7 years on the ship? Probably. When it comes to a scene, this is again when so I just got
So my
Bree's
character knows this.
secret and I've got Josh's fear. If Josh is doing a spotlight scene or up against a threat or something's going on, I can invoke his fear card, trigger it into that scene, add a black dice against the threat that he's rolling for, and I still get 2 story points.
It's not necessarily as a character though. It's as like a player at the
This
table.
is
right?
a player mechanic.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I
your
can-
character doesn't need to be in the scene. It's just like, oh, hey, like I'm kind of being all powerful GM here, and you have to deal with this now.
Your character, yeah, but it'll be as a player against Josh's character,
Right.
Because it's Josh's fear. It's Grimshaw's fear.
Can you do this during someone else's scene?
Yeah,
Like, so this character gets
as long as
introduced. Be respectful, of course.
Don't throw a character into a scene that they haven't consented to be in.
Okay.
Like clear it with them, but. Other than that, more if they're in that scene. Now, when it comes to the secret, you can either be in narrative, you can out them to the crew by revealing their secret, or you can demand, because I'm cashing this card in for my 2 story points, it's time for you to tell everyone your secret. And your character doesn't have to be there. You're just, as a player, telling Brent or me telling Bree. Bree has to tell everyone what her secret is now, and I'm going to get this 2 story points. Right, so that's how
Oh,
that card
goodness.
works. It creates a sort of built tension, and the fear card is interesting because it adds black die to the threat. that they're rolling against, we're going to be dealing with threats a lot, more than one at a time. And it adds a black die. In the Act 1, every threat starts with 3 black die that you're rolling against, and in Act 2, every threat has 5 black die that you're rolling against. And the fear card will add an additional black die, as well as any harm that the player has accumulated. Each point of harm adds another black die to the threat. So those begin to stack up. But when I play that fear card, yes, a black die is going, but I get a story point. The book points out, don't hold on to your fear cards. That's going to make the game real difficult. Play them as early in the game as you can, because the earlier we can deal with the fear of each player, the more story points we'll have, the less harm we'll be getting, the more threats we'll be overcoming. If you wait till Act 2, those players might be dead by then. Mm-hmm. Every card you have here, Sane, Crazy, Fear, and Secret, try and play those as early in the game as you can. If you don't know what to do with a spotlight, look at these 4 cards to guide you into what kind of spotlight scene you would like to have, because the faster you can clear them, the more story points you're going to have, and the more likely we're going to be able to save the Earth. Well, that makes sense? We have one last card to help us out with our plan. These are the assets. Assets are something that we have brought along to help us with the mission. And they have some suggestions here at the back of the book because we want to have the assets that kind of fit the theme of the story. And for space missions, they can be anything from
Sonic screwdrivers.
Small weapons, sentient robots, advanced armor, nuclear weapons, a scientific survey of the crisis, gravity wave device. So gravity wave device is what we are using to move Pluto into a different orbit and play billiards. Maybe the ship itself, my home, should be an asset. And whenever we're in a threat, if we can use the asset to help us in the threat, we get a white die. Only one asset can be used for each threat, but they can be used over and over again. They don't burn out until or if they're destroyed. And so you can use an asset in a threat as like an assist roll to give you white die. And so that's how it gets. And 3D printers, conventional explosives, advanced engineering tools, anything, I think at least...
Do we have to tell what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is something not for the player. It's going to go more in the center.
Okay, I have an idea of what my...
We're all
one
going to
is.
have 5 assets
Right.
that we all get to
That's
use.
cool.
But we each are writing down an asset for the rest of the table to have. So I'm thinking the Black Knight satellite,
Is its own asset?
experimental satellite home base is one is our first asset.
In which case, the technology I designed to push that gravitational push would also be an asset, correct?
if you'd like it to be.
But, if I
we
don't
can have a
determine-
bunch of things on the ship that aren't assets, like
Right,
but
they don't have
and
mechanical
even
effect.
this, they just won't have a mechanical. They just have a narrative place in the story.
Which I think pushing the moon is more a story
Probably
thing.
an asset.
Yeah.
Or
Or is it do you think it's an asset or it's more a story thing?
Well,
Your asset is a leash for your dog.
I would say
I was going to say advanced. What was that one? Advanced engineering tools is what I was.
Advanced
gonna say.
engineering tools, but I mean, hell, just the graviton device.
The graviton.
like give it a cool name, right?
The graviton.
So state of the art experimental Black Knight
Device.
starbase.
I think we need a 3D printer.
3D printer.
I think we need a 3D printer. Those are fun.
Oh, I'm going to put a weird.
and so
outline.
topical right now if you've been following Sayer.
Thanks, Adam Nash.
I mean, I obviously have a leash for my dog, but
I mean, you
use
could
it.
make your
but now
dog
you
the
can't
asset.
strangle somebody with it and not have it count as an asset.
I have my dog as the
When you
thing I
strangle
brought
somebody,
with
it
me.
will
If
get the
anyone
bonus
wants
point.
to make Grimshaw's dog one of the assets.
Oh, I would love to, honestly. I was kind of thinking that. Do you mind?
What
There's a
happens
very-
to my dog?
No,
if he makes
it just
an
means
asset?
it can be
it-
used. It can be used during a scene.
It's a
During the
yes.
scene,
thing.
okay.
Yes, as a
but
benefit.
also, if we get to Act 2 and we've kind of screwed things up a lot and we end up in the black, we randomly lose
spend.
assets.
If with your permission, may I make Bones an asset?
And if we
That would
randomly
make
lose
Bones
an
useful, but also more at risk.
Yes.
yes, he might get vented into space.
For the sake of
Or-
the story,
but-
I think it's
but-
better
but-
that you do.
We do have a 3D printer.
So you can print
You
a new
can't
Bones.
print me a new
No,
Bones.
no. Everything you need-
Everything we need to make a new new dog
Yeah.
is present in an old dog. Okay?
Yeah.
I think
All
for
the
sake of
materials
the
you need
story-
to print out a new dog are already present in a deceased old dog.
Right. So asset, original bones.
Original bones.
The one and only.
the one and only
Look,
Bones.
look,
Bones
and how
Alpha.
does
Wait,
us printing a
Bones
new bones
Prime.
make you feel?
Yeah.
Question, bones.
I'm gonna go on a murderous rampage across the ship. This is
Does bones end with an S or a Z?
S.
Okay. Keeping it classic.
We
All right.
have gravity on the ship because we've been moving so fast. We have gravity like in think in the Expanse, just from our own inertia. We're all like stuck down on the ground because
Got
we're
it.
moving out.
Poor dog.
I got an almanac to look for numbers to find patterns in.
Numerology
Numerologist
almanac.
We needed that. Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Available now on the Terrible Warrior store.
Just random numbers.
I'll just
printed
write
out.
one. It'll
Just
be
want to
great.
thank, yeah.
Print out
Coast
pie.
to Coast is the latest sponsor. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've all got our
Boy,
assets.
if we have
Bones is
real
actually
sponsors
useful.
by the
He's
time-
not just there.
all
yeah,
around
no,
that,
no,
I
what-
do like
What
that.
are our
Yeah.
5 assets? We've got state-of-the-art starbase, Bones, the dog, the Graviton device, numerology almanac, and 3D printers.
You got it. Wow.
right.
That was impressive.
He's
And
used to being the GM.
We don't have a med kit.
now, here's another thing
needs that?
that is going to be secret
We'll just 3D
to
print you a
everyone.
new arm.
There are 8 death cards in this game. And I've already written them all down ahead of time.
Ooh.
And I'm going to shuffle them up, and I have no idea which one you're going to get. They all just say death written on the back, and they're relatively identical because they're all with my handwriting.
We each get
And-
one.
And you're all going to get one death card. This card is secret. You keep it face down on the table, and it is your fate. It is how you will die. If you die and you don't fulfill this card, it adds 2 black dice to the crisis. If you choose to die at any time following the death card, you get 4 white dice added to the plan, which is good. That's
Yeah.
good. If you hit 5 harm, your character is dead. Your character is dead. If you don't want to die yet, or you're not dying in a way that matches your card, you can cheat death. You can only cheat death once. And when you cheat death, we'll put a mark on your death card. You've now cheated death. When you die and you follow through, if you hit 5 harm again, and you're this time able to match your card and your death, you get to add 2 white dice to the plan. If you hit 5 harm and you die and it matches your card and you've never cheated death, it's 3, right? So the death card can either add 2 white dice, 3 white dice, or 4 white dice, depending on whether you sacrifice yourself or you die according to your fate, or if you cheat death, right? And then if you get 5 harm and you die and it doesn't match your card and there's no other way out because you've already cheated death once before, 2 black dice to the crisis. Something went wrong and you didn't even die the way fate had intended. So these are all things like, to give an example to the people at home, they're you will die following an order, or you will die disobeying an order, or you will die by someone else's hand, or you will die by your own hand. Right? Those are the kinds of things. And so they're quite open-ended in terms of how that happens. You're the only one who knows, so you can move the narrative in those scenes and those threats. And when you're taking stuff to make sure that when you die, it fulfills your card. You will continue to play the game after you've died, but if all of us die before we confront the crisis, but ideally, we'll arrive at the crisis with 1 survivor, with the ghosts of the other dead members of the crew offering the white dice from their positive deaths to help spurn us to victory, right? So one of us is going to be Cillian Murphy in the payload, hurtling into the sun. So, again, spoilers, but I did tell you to watch Sunshine before we started. Josh, your death guard.
Maybe it's on Netflix in your country. It's not in
This
Canada.
is how you will die.
This was a nice touch.
This is how you're going to die.
Did you do the blood splattering on
This is how
purpose?
no, that's actually the one card that Tychus,
My ferret.
her ferret, walked on that was still wet with red ink on another card. So,
I was gonna say it's a really nice touch.
It's
But
got little Tychus Pete's on it.
yeah.
I got yeah.
And then those go over there. So you just keep that
Justin,
nice solid yellow. Yes.
what did you do?
Is it a good one?
It's a good one. But like, did you mark? I flipped the card back over to see if you marked it.
No, I was shuffling and talking, and I wasn't looking. And
I
then
know, I saw.
And I even handed top deck, and then middle fanned it out and gave you a random one. So I absolutely did not. There
You
is no.
gave the guy
Well
with a
done.
pet a card that was marked by a pet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No, this has worked out real well, guys. I'm
got-
real happy.
It's got real dark. Okay, so that is the second to last step. We have one final step, and then our creation step is over. We'll begin Act 1. Threat cards. We're going to each present 5 cards into the threat pool. I have already written down, if we don't want to come up with our own, the 8 that are suggested for this setting. That are here, and I've also got the rest are blank. As we complete threats, whoever defeats that threat gets to write a new threat and add it into the pool. So at any time, there will always be 5 threats in the threat pool, and or 5 threats on the table. Some might be active and some will be in the pool. As threats are resolved, new threats will be written to replace them. So we'll always come up to 5. So to give you some idea of the suggested ones, meteor shower, clouds of space debris, flesh-eating virus, coolant insulating mimic has failed, fire on the ship, holes in the ship's hull,
Sunshine.
solar flares, malfunctioning mimic. That's more 2001 Space
Yeah.
Odyssey. It's time to kill the crew because that's the only way we can solve the crisis. Failing life support, a saboteur stowaway, and intense radiation. So those are.
I like those a lot.
Yeah, let's
like
keep
that
those.
one.
Those were a bunch of the ones I was going to write down.
So you can.
We're in the gamut.
So here's the thing. I've listed those out loud. This is where things get secret, just like the death cards, though. I'm going to hand Josh the blank deck and the pre-made deck. He's going to either write one down or select from the prefabs, and then hand those cards to Adam. And then you're going to either pick one from the prefab or write one down. And you're going to pick one from the write one down, and it's going to go around. And then we're going to have cards in a pool face down. The only threat you will know is the one that you wrote or the one that you selected. And then everything will come back to me, and I'll select either a prefab or write one of my own. And we'll know if someone writes one down. They'll be like, oh, cool. And then it's going to go down, and it's going to sit there. During a spotlight scene, the person to the left of the player in the scene that's not in a scene will be mimic for the purposes of that scene. The person to the right of a player who's doing the spotlight, who's not in a scene, will be controlling the threat deck. They will flip through the 5, so eventually we'll all know, but it'll all be still silent. And you'll be flipping through the deck, and you'll be listening to the scene as it's happening, and you'll be thinking, which one can I interrupt the scene with? And then you will play the threat deck at the climax of the argument or the whatever reassurance, hopefully giving everyone a chance to cash in their story cards as they need. And then before things get boring, red alert. You throw an interruption into it, like we're hitting with a meteor shower or whatever's happening.
We add more threats in as threats are resolved.
Yeah,
So-
threats. There is one threat is always added at the end of a spotlight scene. And threats are always added when the white and black dice, when trying to resolve a threat, tie. So that's like tying the white and black is a critical failure. No one succeeds, no one loses, and a new threat is added in. Now we have to deal with 2. That's the only way you get duplicate threats. So and we'll deal with resolving threats in play. It's just, I think it's a little more fun to just kind of figure it out as we go. In terms of how we get from Act 1 to Act 2, I think we'll be like, oh no, this is real bad. I'm really looking forward to you just all being like, we're fucked, is kind of going to be the feeling of this game.
Thanks,
So-
Captain Jeez.
I don't want to be in charge. It's just my home, okay?
My name's on the deed.
I was already here.
Dragged away by a space trailer.
This is a state-of-the-art starbase
That
funded entirely by the economic crash of 2008. So
Which was overseen by...
using
which was overseen by little baby mimic.
it's actually like the secret Canadian space program ever since the whole the Avro Arrow.
Arrow.
We've never told anyone about our secret plot since. So, anyways. Yes, even in Canada, we can have secret plots. I will hand this over to Josh, and you can have a look. Everyone, it's totally fine if we just have 5 of the prefabs, because those are all real cool threats.
They are. Just so I'm clear. So
If I decide to write one down right now,
It will all know you're writing one down, but you don't tell us what it is. And then we'll go flat down. Someone will, once we go into a spotlight, someone's going to figure it out. So it's not going to be a secret for long. It's just going to be like tension.
but if I decide to write one down right now, and later when we get to add more, will I be able to add from the prefabs, or will I have to write one?
Absolutely. You can always add from the prefabs. Those are always going to be there. And in fact, as we're writing new threats in, hopefully they will reflect the context of where the mission is, right? Like the threats we're going to be facing now might be very different after we crash onto Planet X,
Right.
if that happens.
Well, it's all in the cards.
Those paper shuffling sounds are real nice too.
Yeah, I'm into all the ASMR today. I'm generally not, but today I'm into it. I'm not getting like the ASMR shivers. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is nice. This is nice.
I thought for sure the three of you were going to pick this one out of the prefab deck, so I'm just going to add it in then. Because I immediately went to go look. Did anyone pick it? Did anyone pick it? Oh, no one picked it.
No,
Oh.
I had a very specific
There was one of the prefabs that I really wanted to add, but this I have to add.
I have an idea for another one too, but
Yeah.
we'll do that when I need to.
I wanna
add
see
another
where
And
the
not
story
too
goes for you,
specific with the threat either. Because you're writing it down, Josh. There are 3 rules about the threats. They must be imminent. They are happening right now. They must be local. They are happening to us. They are happening to our ship and our bodies. They're not somewhere else, right? So, and they are non-negotiable. For an example, you can negotiate with a vampire, but you can't negotiate with a zombie. So whatever it is, the threat must be tackled head on right now, or we will all die and the mission will end. Right? That is what the threat is it's non-negotiable, imminent, and local. And if any of those threats don't match any of that, like if any of the answer is no, then we have to rejig what that
make it
threat
fit.
is. I mean, eventually everyone's going to know because it's not going to be
Pass around.
a secret for long. But it will take at least 5 scenes before everyone knows. And even then, as those threats are being rewritten, there's always probably going to be a chance where you won't know what every threat is in the pool at any given time. I will just put that right there next to the assets.
Assets? Okay.
So we start the event with 4 black
Threats
dice.
there.
We start the plan with a bunch of story points, which you can, if you really need to, invoke. Everyone has 2 story points where when they're taking on a threat, they can pay story points to get additional white die. You can also use your touchstone once in a game to get an additional white die, as well as you will earn story points by cashing in your story cards, which are your sane, fear, secrets, and crazies. And then white dice are added to the plan for the end of the game, depending on how dice cards or death cards are played out. So I believe that brings us to the end of episode 1.
Yay!
Just gonna double check. Threat cards. Place the threats in the center of the table. We will return next week with the beginning of Act 1. And as the captain, my first job is to come up with the choice. Every game like this, every movie, every story, starts with a choice that we have to make. Something at this stage in our journey has gone wrong, and we now must choose this way or that way. Now, I can look onto a chart and randomly select it, and I probably will, because that's how I roll. But for an example, again, in Sunshine, it came when the dead zone came up early and they had to make a choice. Do we go to Icarus 1 or do we stay on course? Do we change course or do we stay on course? And Kaba, the main character, is tasked with making that choice, and it's a flip of a coin. He can't determine it. So many probabilities. We will have to choose. I will be presenting to you at the beginning of the next episode. Something has now gone wrong with the plan, and we have to choose. Do we go course A or course B? And that will then set us down a butterfly effect of horrible outcomes that will see whether or not we end up saving humanity. So,
Darkest year of our adventures.
are we going to call this the Black Knight Starbase?
Yeah.
Is that what it
Satellite.
is?
Black Knight Satellite, because it rhymes and it's
From the
great.
Black Knight satellite, we are humanity's last best hope. And this is our journey to stop Nibiru from colliding with Earth on Sunday, November 16th. And for this game, I have been your captain of this brave crew of exceptional individuals. Maurice Arrington,
He picked up his own name today.
Gotta nail that down.
Justin Ecock, and I have been joined around my table by your last best hope.
Jim Grimshaw, played by Joshua Barbeau.
Tracy Trickshot Schuler, played by Adam Luker.
Software engineer Newton Crane, played by Brent Morris.
Dr. Ariel Sims, played by Terrible Warriors Judas Poisonne.
And we will see you in the next episode, part 2, act 1 of our last best hope, our journey to Pluto, apparently, to play space billiards. See you next time, everyone. The Terrible Warriors releases new episodes every week, and our last best hope continues to the month of February. We now know what it is we're up against. And next week, they'll be faced with a difficult choice that will determine the outcome of their mission. And at least one member of the crew will die. Meanwhile, every week, our friends at the Cambridge Chronicles are still releasing new episodes. If you like actual play RPGs and you want to follow along with a long-form campaign, they're almost 19 episodes in to their Dungeons & Dragons storyline. Join Mike Dodd and his Terrible Warriors from the Guelph crew as they continue to play the Cambridge Chronicles at terriblewarriors.com/Cambridge Chronicles. And of course, follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. Why don't you check out our Discord channel, hang out with us, let us know how you like the show. If you like this show and you want to hear more, consider becoming a Patreon supporter today. Patreon supporters gain access to our exclusive debrief episodes. They can listen in to live recordings on Discord, get postcards in the mail, be named as NPCs in our games, and may even join us here at the table to play a game. Today's Terrible Warriors and humanity's last best hope were Justin Ecock, Bree Poisonne, Adam Luker, Brent Morris, and Joshua Barbeau. And the crew of the Black Knight satellite will return next week in Operation Trickshot, right here on the Terrible Warriors.